Kipruto Arap Kirwa, because I know also you're a big farmer. I don't know how these rains have adversely affected your harvest, or if at all maybe you're plowing over land as it is, because I know where you come from, maize is big as well. But let's just begin there, highlighting just the devastation that we've seen so far and the reaction from the government.
First of all, let me pass my condolences to the families and friends who have lost their loved ones. It is a disaster that can be avoided. But in some cases like this year, honestly, the rains came much earlier than expected. And of course, we had been told, and therefore we expected the drainages to be cleaned and also to assess the capacity. I saw a number of vehicles in one of the estates being carried literally from where they were parked up to some other people's gates. The second issue is that we must also interrogate the issue of land use in Kenya. You realize most of the riparian areas that were meant to check the flow of water, they have been decimated to the extent that they have become like farming entities for purposes of doing some vegetables and other crops. That creates a lot of problem because it allows water to flow so fast and move to a situation that is beyond the capacity of the flow. The second issue is that when the rains came, they came heavy. Because usually when the rains start and prepare some kind of grass, that will assist to check the flow. Now, the final thing is the reaction of those who ought to be responsible for ensuring that people are safe was a bit poor. Because I would have expected even from February, January, that most of the drainages, like in some of the flat estates, to be cleared. Because it's not just the size of the drainage, is that it is the fact that the drainages are flooded with a lot of takataka, and in the process, water flows out of the normal channel. And it would have been, I would have expected Sakaja to tell us where the boat went, because ostensibly he had already said there was a boat, which he bought for purposes of ensuring that people can navigate the floods. But given the strength and the size of the floods, it would have been also impossible to use that same boat. I don't know whether it was on hire or it was bought and is lying idle instead of being utilized.
The inflatables boats that he had actually...
He had told us that he had bought. And also what is very important, I think the government and those in responsible positions should ensure that we save this country. Every year we lose almost 3 feet of soil into the oceans. If you are to go to some of the counties like Kajiado, counties like Narok, and even some of the parts of Rift Valley in Nakuru, a lot of degradation has taken place, and it therefore means with little rain, all the water gets into the canals, and that's why it carries people. And this means we must do what we call issues of not really drainage in this case. We must do terraces. The gabions that President Mo used to do in some parts of Ukambani, we no longer hear of that. And it just takes one person to travel out of Nairobi, and you will see some of these challenges. And the lower parts of Nyanza, that every year people cry. You've had 300 members of families are now removed from their homes. We must be able to seek alternative places for these people to go. And finally, the issue of the forest. You hear even Karura here is under a lot of threat. These are areas that we invest in jungle, what we call a concrete jungle. And in the process, a lot of water gathers from the upper parts of Nairobi, and it goes towards South Sea and some parts of South B. These are the problems that we face. And they can be avoided. It just needs somebody to be keen and also to use the resources where they are wanted.
Yeah. Interesting. Of course, even last